Here I am in Cape Cod where no one's wearing a mask. So you can see behind me that there's huge groups of people sitting literally inches apart from each other and no one has a mask on. So if one of them has COVID, they're all in trouble.
Do you go on vacation during the pandemic? That depends. Here's what you need to think about. Number one, your risk personally. So any pre-existing medical conditions, anyone in your family or friend group that has pre-existing medical conditions that if they were exposed or infected would place them at higher risk for complications of COVID-19. And then where you're going to be going. So you're going to balance the risk to the individual, the risk to the activity, vacation, environment. All of those will be different case by case. That then has to be balanced between benefits. So it's risk of going, risk of not going, benefits of going, benefits of not going, and then any options or alternatives that you may have. You can never make risk zero. We can't sterilize our environment, we can't live our lives in a plastic bubble, but you can take steps to lower or mitigate your risk. So everyone can go through those 4 questions, get the answers as best you can, and then make an informed decision.
Here I am in Cape Cod where no one's wearing a mask on the beach, and I think I've identified the source of confusion. People think if they're within their own cluster and then they're 6 or more feet apart, that's protective, but it's not, because you can see behind me that there's huge groups of people sitting literally inches apart from each other and no one has a mask on.
Obviously, when you're looking at a group of 20 or 30 people, those people don't live under the same roof. So if one person in your group is infected with COVID-19 and showing no symptoms, as we know a huge percentage of people do, and you spend a few hours sitting right next to that person, you are in very immediate risk of becoming infected yourself. I just had a conversation with Dr. Robert Redfield, the director of the CDC, and he emphasized it is not 6 feet or more distance or a mask or face covering. It is all 3 of the following: mask or face covering, 6 feet or more apart, and vigorous hand hygiene. Those are the 3 most powerful weapons we have right now in our arsenal to help reduce the risk to ourselves and to others of becoming infected with COVID-19. In terms of the specifics, what's safer, flying, driving, staying at a hotel, camping, realize that at this time, there are no hard numbers or official recommendations that pertain to all of those different scenarios. So we have to use the available science and evidence that we have to the best of our knowledge and make an informed decision about our individual risk and the people that we are traveling with. For the most part, flying is a lot safer than people think. Yes, it is prolonged close contact, which we know are the 2 biggest issues with any respiratory viral pathogen like this coronavirus. However, there are safer ways to do it. You try to space yourselves out if possible, wearing a mask or face covering, not only for the protection of those around you, but also there is emerging data that it can possibly give the benefit to some extent to the person wearing that face covering. If possible, although this is evolving data, wearing glasses or some kind of eye shield. That was published recently in the Lancet journal that suggested that in an out-of-hospital setting, protecting the eyes can reduce the risk of becoming infected with SARS-CoV-2. Also keeping your hands clean and minimizing your movement around the plane. The fewer number of people in your car, the fewer stops you make along the way, obviously your exposure is lower, therefore your risk is lower. They are vigorously cleaned according to high standards at baseline. That's been obviously stepped up, and you can do a large amount of that yourself. You can bring your own disinfecting, sanitizing, cleaning wipes. You can clean off all the hot spots. We have to remember that the majority of transmission of SARS-CoV-2 is still believed to be via the respiratory route, so respiratory droplets, aerosol or airborne transmission. Contact transmission is thought to be much, much lower of a contributing factor to the spread of this virus. You will not read probably anytime soon a firm number or official recommendation about specific types of travel. Otherwise, you just need to use the best information at your disposal, discuss that amongst your group of people that will be traveling with you, and make the best decision for you that you can at this point.